I'm Matt Paget, and this is the Interviewee Project. The farmer that I decided to interview, his name is James Keenan, and he's the owner of a farm called Bernie's Berries here locally where I live in Greensboro, North Carolina. His job title would be considered a farmer, and the responsibilities that come along with being the owner, he has to manage the money and crops to make sure he comes out with a profit and also manage the income of his employees. The way that he came up about this is because he grew up on the farm, and so his dad used to run it, and then his dad passed away, so that's how he took over the family business. To work here, he said you need some degree, so you wouldn't have to specifically graduate from college with an agricultural degree. He just said he would like somebody to work with him for a degree. He actually went to NC State, so go Pack. Then the reason I am interested in this field of work is because it shows that God's the creator and there's more of a purpose than just us humans. It shows that he's really there, and it shows the design of his work. And another reason is because I like to give back to the community, because farmers, nobody can live without food. And the reason I decided to interview James Keenan is because he's a family friend and he's neighboring farms to us. And I used to always look up to him when I was little because I've always wanted to farm, and he's become very successful, so I decided him. 3 areas of law that I'm going to talk about is contracts, Food Safety Modernization Act, and H-2A workers. He actually has no contracts because he sells locally to the public. So he does not have any contracts consisting of him selling his crops to bigger companies. And then Food Safety Modernization Act is, he said a lot has changed since he started farming because there's been a lot more inspections routinely, and you have to make sure everything is properly up to date other than like when he started. It was just farming. He said that's been a big setback. And then the third area of law that I'm going to talk about is H-2A workers. He mainly hires H-2A workers, and he said a lot has changed with that as it consists of more paperwork, and you can't let them get around any chemicals, or if they do, they have to wear proper equipment for it because they don't want to harm the H-2A workers. And he just said a lot has changed in the farming industry with paperwork and things. And overall, after this interview, I would still like to continue my career in the agricultural field. So nothing has changed